Shri Guru Charan Gati
Let's do it at sheet device which the AC lock level from the robot piece of joy. Now let's go device to the pizza. Now my child is the very staff of the this can all found to the robot. Thanks to the most recent shape and the prevalent channel the sheer rate of the supposed to go over from Peter. Shitty Rada, Christian Lord, Sound, Sure, that one she might None of that is the way to do that. Questions, we go through the visa, so they go through the visa. Trust and destination visa, any other same time we go. Deltas and the all the way from the just way from the place, so go the we should know to go. It just started walking. You just look like with your lucky eyes with the next. Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Mama Jaya
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Shandatam Sripata Krishna Pumya Shavana Kirtanam Yadam Sostati Bhadzi Vinoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayashvapad Vishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavad Yuttama Shloked Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 Chapter 16 Text 9 1:16:9 Mandasya Manda Pragyasya Vayomanda Yushas Nidraya Hriyate Naktam Diva Chavyarta Karma Bhi Mandasya Manda Pragyasya Vayomanda Yushas Nidraya Hriyate Naktam Diva Chavyarta Karma Bhi Mandasya Manda Pragyasya Vayomanda Yushashchave Vidraya Dhyate Naktam Diva Chavyarta Karma Vi Mandasya Manda Pragyasya Vayomanda Yushashchave Naktam Diva Chavyarta Karma Vi Mandasya Manda Pragyasya Vayomanda Yushachava Vidaya Priyate Naktam Diva Chavyarta Karma Vi Mandasya of the lazy Manda paltry Pragyasya of intelligence Vayaha age, Manda, short, Ayusha, of duration of life, Cha, and Vai, exactly, Nidraya, by sleeping, Riyate, passes away, Naktam, night, Diva, daytime, Cha, also, Vyartha, for nothing, Karma by activity, translation, purpose, divine grace. You're right. His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for naught. Purport. The less intelligent do not know the real value of the human form of life. The human form is a special gift of material nature in the course of enforcing stringent laws of miseries upon the living being. It is a chance to achieve the highest boon of life, namely to get out of the entanglement of repeated birth and death. The intelligent take care of this important gift by strenuously endeavoring to get out of the entanglement. But the less intelligent are lazy and unable to evaluate the gift of the human body to achieve liberation from material bondage. They become more interested in so-called economic development and work very hard throughout life simply for the sense enjoyment of the temporary body. Sense enjoyment is also allowed to the lower animals by the law of nature, and thus a human being is also destined to a certain amount of sense enjoyment according to his past or present life. But one should definitely try to understand that sense enjoyment is not the ultimate goal of human life. Herein it is said that during the daytime one works for nothing, because the aim is nothing but sense enjoyment. We can particularly observe how the human being is engaged for nothing in the great cities and industrial towns. There are so many things manufactured by human energy, but they are all meant for sense enjoyment and not for getting out of material bondage. And after working hard during the daytime, a tired man either sleeps or engages in sex habits at night. That is the program of materialistic civilized life for the less intelligent. Therefore, they are designated here as lazy, unfortunate, and short-lived. Krishna, Krishna, Bhutale, Srimate, Bhakti, Swami Nityananda, Namaste, Sarasvati, Bhagavan, Pachai, Nirvishesha Srinivadi, Paschati, Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasai, Lord Bhakti, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are or not. Appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's perfectly and carefully selected words. Paltry, according to etymology, means worthless or despicable. 1560s. Noun as paltry means a worthless thing. Is associated with the dialectal palt or pelt, which means trash, and it's cognate with Middle Low German and East Frisian. In palte or a rag, it's an old rag. It might be used often, but if it served its purpose, then you just toss it away. And there's no whereas the rag is not much of a disturbance for the average person. In Middle Dutch, pulp means broken or torn fragment. And then similarly in Low German called patri means rubbish, rubbish-y. And rubbish is another word that's used for garbage or trash. So let's use rubbish and soda. This is what Prabhupada uses. So lazy human beings with paltry intelligence means worthless intelligence. What do? With their short duration of life? They pass sleeping and then performing activities that are for not means not as synonymous with nothing. This will direct us now to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 8, because this is in parallel with this verse, and then a few things from the purport as well. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message. Thank you. Of the personality of Godhead. What is the message? Sarva dharman paricha jama mekam sharanam bhaja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishani mashuchaha. Whatever forms of religion or isms that one has manufactured or followed, even bona fide, if they did not lead one to transcendental loving service to Krishna, characterized through love for everyone. The saying is that oftentimes says, Grace Radha Shyam Prabhu, love God, love all. That if we love some and hate some, then one is not practicing the essence of religion. And Prabhupada, very in a simplified way, had said this: real religion means to understand God and to love Him. Yesterday on book distribution in Capitola, I was discussing this with one gentleman there. He had his own philosophy mixed with some from the Bible. And he said, I'm an agnostic. He said, I need to see it to believe it. But he was friendly, so I didn't challenge him. But the idea is that see it to believe it. Agnostic means not for, not against. I need some proof. And what is the standard of the proof? So many things we don't see or cannot perceive with the senses, yet we believe in them or have full faith. Just as 2 weeks ago, I didn't see the pilots going to Mexico, and I had full faith they were there and qualified and sober enough to take me and everyone else there. This faith is the basis of the world. For the average person, one just needs to extend the faith into something achinta or inconceivable at the present moment. And then that eventually leads one to have a internal experience with Krishna, a bhava and a specific emotion that's considered divine. And what the gentleman continued to say is that I don't believe nor am against, I'm agnostic. Yet he said he had a 4-year-old son, and that he said that he believes that the son inherits the sins of the father. And so therefore, according to his logic, he baptized the son so that the son would be washed away of his sins. So he had some security. He had some insurance, divine insurance there. This is what happens when one is manufacturing. Is there or not? Follow some things, not follow some things. And then it becomes patchwork. And then what is that good for? I mean, Krishna does mention that there's 4 types of pious people that approach him: distressed, wealth, inquisitive, and then wants the truth only. And if we examine our own position, most of us, including myself, fall into the category of distressed. Feel usually a misdirection, activities not leading to fulfillment, a lot of guesswork. You say that in mathematics, show me your work. How did you get to the answer? Like, okay, the answer is right, but the work isn't there. You don't know what you're doing. You must have plagiarized. The idea is that in the Krishna consciousness movement, without giving proper credit, without Krishna's philosophy, and he says it often, my opinion, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Person, without following Krishna's opinion or his representative's opinion and what they follow according to the Shastra, then one becomes moha illusioned. As Kautakarna Prabhu had the one experience with the gentleman, Baha'i, the religion that extracts only that which is needed or according to their values or what they perceive as priority, and take only what they want from other religions and then bring it together, and that becomes a religion called Baha'i. Some uses in that also create some confusion in due course of time. And what Srila Prabhupada emphasizes here in this specific translation of 128 is Shrama. And a few things from the purport, even though the whole thing's nectar. There are different occupational activities in terms of a man's different conceptions of life. To the gross materialist who cannot see anything beyond the gross material body, there is nothing beyond the senses. Okay? Only what I can prove, only what I can see. That's what he said. I need to see it to believe it, gentleman said. Therefore, his occupational activities are limited to concentrated. I have here my wife, my son. That's what he said. And extended selfishness. Now, if the individual is a little pious, then it'll extend to the city. It'll extend to perhaps the Central Coast in California, and then a little bit beyond that in the US. It's still Shama Evrihi Kevalam here. It states that. And we'll go into it a little bit. Concentrated selfishness centers around the personal body. This is generally seen amongst the lower animals, Pashu. Extended selfishness is manifested in human society and centers around family, society, community, nation, and world with a view to gross bodily comfort. Eat better, sleep better, better sex life, and ultimate military weapons. Above these gross materialists are the mental speculators who hover aloft in the mental spheres, and their occupational duties involve making poetry and philosophy or propagating some ism with the same aim of selfishness limited to the body and the mind. But above the body and mind is the dormant spirit soul, whose absence from the body makes the whole range of bodily and mental selfishness completely null and void. But less intelligent people have no information of the needs of the spirit soul. They're known as Abuddha. Buddha means intelligent. Abuddha negates means they're not intelligent. He goes on to state here, the Srila Prabhupada, because foolish people have no information of the soul and how it is beyond the purview of the body and mind, they are not satisfied in the performance of their occupational duties. Many people achieving things, not many people content, and therefore anxiety. How do I get it? They don't know the peace formula. Prabhupada calls it basically offering everything to the Supreme as a sacrifice, making something sacred. Bhoktarang yagya tapasam. The question of the satisfaction of the soul is raised herein. The self is beyond the gross body and subtle mind. He is the potent, active principle of the body and mind. I was in Thursday, was over there at this Foothill College, and there was one student. He was asking about a lot of questions about our philosophy, and he was saying, and it was actually quite productive. He was saying that if there is God, and he's also agnostic, if there is a God, then wouldn't the best thing be to simply trust him with whatever happens? I said, yeah, that's very high level of consciousness, but most people aren't there. And he said, yeah, I also forget sometimes. But yeah, we all do. That's the reason why we're here. And you could tell he was battling with understanding of if there's a supreme or not responsible for all this. But if we just carefully analyze unbiasedly, through walking here to see the beautiful flowers and the way that Prabhupada had sometimes referenced is that if there's so much beauty here in the material world, especially in a flower, then imagine who has put that flower there, the beauty of that person. It has to be much more beautiful than that. And this is Krishna, the all-attractive one. Without knowing the need of the dormant soul, this is 128 continued, one cannot be happy simply with emolument of the body and mind. This means to combine between these two things. The body and the mind are but superfluous outer coverings of the spirit soul. Superfluous is withering, artificial. The spirit soul's needs must be filled. What is the spirit soul's need? It's simply to love and be loved and to share it. Simply by cleansing the cage of the bird, one does not satisfy the bird. One must actually know the needs of the bird himself. The bird wants seeds. The need of the spirit soul is that he wants to get out of the limited sphere of material bondage and fulfill his desire for complete freedom. What is that? Prabhupada stated, the soul's reinstatement of its constitutional position as a loving servitor of the Lord. That is complete freedom. He wants to get out of the covered walls of the greater universe. That's why we want to go here and there and visit. Guru Maharaj once said, he said, first you'll see banners, advertisements. Go to India, you'll be happy there. You'll go there, and then you'll see signs there. Go to Russia, you'll be happy there. You go to Russia. Then you see signs, go to UCSC, you'll be happy. And then you'll see there another sign. The examples that there's no happiness here except engaging in Krishna consciousness. Then one relishes an internal feeling. And as His Grace Vaisheshika Maharaj was elaborating on yesterday, that spiritual life is not easy. It's very difficult, actually. And one must, as it's stated in Shastra, one must carefully observe the movements of the mind, its psychological sensitivity, and the desires. Chanchalam Himana, Krishna Arjuna says it's very difficult to control the mind. As such, it feels as if the wind is easier to control than this thing here, right? It's stated actually here, even though modern psychology thinks it's here. Continuing in the purport. He wants to see the free light and the spirit. That complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirits. Om Purnamidam Purnam Purnamidachite Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishite. Sri Upanishad invocation. Complete knowledge is only given to that individual that understands the complete whole. Otherwise, they'll have puzzle piece everything together, and that's incomplete. And therefore, they will also feel incomplete. Spiritual existence is manifested through the gross body and mind in the form of perverted affection for gross and subtle matter. On Wednesday, His Grace Srivas Pandit Prabhu was giving a lecture, Bhakti Santa Cruz, and he mentioned that if it's all about love, and he said, why in this material world, even if we are and the way I'm interpreting it, is that in the material world, as if one is in a traumatic relationship with whatever kind of entity and it ends poorly, why they still seek love? Because after all, that's what we want. It's inherent in the nature. And the only one that can do that eternally and in ever-increasing fashion is Krishna. And specifically, Rasavaisaha, in his expert way of meeting the individual where they're at and then reciprocating in the way they want to be loved. That's the difference. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagements that will evoke our divine consciousness. Elsewhere, Prabhupada also states our divine existence. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activities of the Supreme Lord. Again, Maharaj said yesterday, how to become a chaste listener or hearer, right? How to listen in a chaste way. What does chaste mean? Typically, it's used in a marriage that the woman or the wife is chaste to the husband. What does that mean? Only devoted to him. So the one is devoted only to hearing and chanting about who? Krishna. And how does that hearing and process happen? One must sit down and what? And hear for what? A long time. A long time. And saying, it's been already 15 minutes. Where's my benefit? Where's my fruit? No, a long time. Just like this, sit down, be peaceful, and read the transcendental words of the Supreme Lord. Any occupation activity which does not help one to achieve attachment for hearing and chanting the transcendental message of Godhead is said herein to be simply a waste of time. This is because other occupational duties, whatever ism they may belong to, cannot give liberation to the soul. And it's said that if one gives some pious charity to someone or something, that they must receive it in the next life, and therefore that is not advised. It must be not only sanctioned, but sanctified, as His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu has said. For example, charity is sanctioned, but to whom to give the charity? Then it becomes sanctified if we offer it as a service to the Lord. Otherwise, it becomes a source of entanglement. Even the activities of the Salvationists are considered to be useless because of their failure to pick up the fountainhead of all liberties. The gross materialist can practically see that his material gain is limited only to time and space, either in this world or in the other. Even if he goes up to the Swarga Loka, he will find no permanent abode for his hankering. The hankering soul must be satisfied by the perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service. Brahma Bhuta Prasana Atma Nashochati Nakangshati. Only one who is on the spiritual platform is not hankering and lamenting. That's the difference. Let's go back to our seed verse today. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for naught, means for nothing. The less intelligent do not know the real value of the human form of life. Prabhupada, in his own words, summarizes this in the first purpose of ISKCON. Right? Systematically means in an organized way, propagate Krishna consciousness to everyone, paraphrasing in such a way that it checks the imbalance of values in life. And what is the result of checking those imbalances? They achieve real unity and peace in the world. And Krishna himself states that how can one have happiness if there's no peace? Peace is basically the first step. One becomes shanti, peaceful, usually by gratitude. Kritagya. And here Prabhupada emphasizes how this is a gift and it's special by material nature. Karmana deva natrina. By supervision, one is awarded a certain type of body to the seed of the father into the mother's womb. And what does it afford one to? A chance to achieve the highest boon of life. Brahma Pumartha Mahan, to develop pure love of God for the Lord. And what does it do? It gets one out of the entanglement of repeated birth and death. It states, the intelligent take care of this important gift by strenuously, means one must endeavor intensely to get out of it. It's not happen chance that one, I now am fully free in loving service of the Lord. It's intentional. One must be purposeful. Otherwise, one will fall down. But the less intelligent are lazy. Mandasya. What does it mean to be lazy? Usually it means that one is not motivated. And therefore, and unmotivated means that the values are not there. One does not value. I think it was His Grace Vijay Prabhu was telling that boy that just slept all day. I don't have anything to do. I'll just sleep. I tried that a long time ago. Right now, 9 or 10, you start to feel real bad, physically. Your mind, you just sloth. It's you can't. It's not possible to do it. I can only sleep. And yeah, it's a poor position to be in. And almost there. More interested in so-called economic development. and work very hard throughout life simply for the sense enjoyment of the temporary body. The jivita, this is also stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that for self-preservation one should work for, and not anything more. In Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatam jagat tena chaktena bhanjita magridakasya svidanam, that only that which is allotted by material nature as it comes and goes, one should be unattached and only be grateful when it comes and also be grateful when it goes. And that way, whatever one receives, say, oh, thank you, Krishna, this is your mercy. And then whatever one is taken, oh, thank you. I wasn't mine anyway. It was yours. So now you have taken it back into your possession. They call this circulation, right? In monetary terms, it's a back in circulation. The money goes in and it comes out. And like that, it's moving here and to and fro. Now, for self-preservation, Prabhupada also gives us more information. This is covered in 6:16 and 6:17 of Bhagavad Gita, where the essence of this is about eating in balance and sleeping in balance, recreating in balance, and working in balance. Just for a few things here to make it practical. In the purport, Prabhupada simply states that if one is eating basic food stuff, then they become healthy. And he gives a short list of grains, vegetables, fruits, and milk. Simple food stuff is considered to be in the mode of goodness, according to Bhagavad Gita. Animal food is for those in the mode of ignorance. According to Ayurveda, animal flesh, including fish, messes with the fierceness of the individual, makes them unnecessarily agitated. They become very, instead of, you see a sage or Maharajas, they're so seated peacefully. When we were at Govardhan in March, a lot of saffron devotees, like these two illustrious personalities, and there's a group of probably anywhere from 20 to 30. And there's a little mini Govardhan at the retreat center. They were all seated there so peacefully, and you could just feel it. There's a different energy altogether. That's because they're engaged in thought and service of the Lord. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru amiveshasi satyam te pratijani priyosime. Become dear to the Lord simply by doing these things. It's very simple. Now Prabhupada highlights in this purport, those who indulge in animal food, drinking, smoking, and eating food which is not first offered to Krishna will suffer sinful reactions because of eating only polluted things. He references Bunjate te tvagam papa ye pachantyatma karana. And even when one is already in the liberated stage, it's advised by Krishna himself, and how Maharaj quoted that Srila Prabhupada said, no, you can't just sit down and smoke ganja. No, actually the work, the intensity and the workload increases. Why? Because the individual sees the suffering of the average person is due to ignorance. And therefore, paraduka duki, they feel this sense of sadness for them actually. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj also echoed, right, in his own words. And for myself, I have no unhappiness, and I see everyone else, and that makes me unhappy. Help them. This is the compassion of someone who's truly practicing. And we'll move now to 17 for the close and then a summary. Avyartha kalatvam. Prabhupada writes, as far as sleeping is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharge of his duties in Krishna consciousness. and therefore any unnecessary time spent sleeping is considered a great loss. A Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore his sleeping is kept to a minimum. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna and who could not sleep more than 2 hours a day, and sometimes not even that. We see this in Srila Prabhupada's life. We see this in Srila Prabhupada's life, right? Where he's so engaged. Who was quoting the other day that he heard maybe that Prabhupada was chanting almost 100 rounds, and we he quoted someone, right? Yeah. Right, and then crying right at the feet of Rupa and Sanatan. Hey, sweeping their samadhis. This is mercy. This is mercy, actually. And that's how it comes. And as they say, the prayers go up and the mercy comes down. And one also must be ready to act on the mercy, though. It's not, oh, here's some mercy, now let me be passive. No. The mercy comes in intense service. That's actually what it comes to. Then you know, and one will be able to manage it long term. That's how one knows they have mercy and still also not feel deserving and therefore willing to do any service, as His Grace Achita Mohan Prabhu said. Menial means I'll go up, I'll go down, I'll go forward, I'll go left, right, backwards. It doesn't matter what it is. Any service comes my way, I don't know it, someone teach me it. And if I do know it, I'll do it ASAP. That's what menial means. Not, oh, there's some trash here at ISV or some cardboard reducing. I'm above that. I have another service to the deities or something like that. No. Unless there's a time-pressing service, then one can do that. And this is a level of consciousness that one will develop, is that it doesn't matter what the service is, I'll do it as if it's the highest service, even if it's the lowest. Because who's watching? Krishna is always watching. And one will see all these menial services after a period of time, they'll build up, and then you'll get a bigger service. I was just observing all auspicious of Anish Prabhu. It's just something simple as pulling out the screen for Prabhupada, and now what is he doing? Gulab Jamans for today's feast. That's a practical example. Something so small, su alpa. It's stated very clearly. Just render a little service and watch it grow. Just see it. And then to end here is a summary of the verse for today. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for not nothing. The way to do it is to be humble, is to be ready for the mercy to come in the form of service, do it with enthusiasm and regularly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Questions, reflections, corrections, and friendly challenges are all available now. Feel free, dear devotees.
I want to share a question for you. Two actually. So one of them was you said hearing for a long time. So yesterday I was just listening to one class by Keshav Swami, and Maharaj was saying, Keshav Swami, and Maharaj was saying that among everybody present there, Parikshit was the only one who got liberated because of the long hearing he had done before in preparation. So everybody else also heard the same thing. And Srimad Bhagavatam is completely pure by itself, and everybody should have been liberated. But only one of them was prepared for it. And he heard it with that intensity, and that's when he was liberated. So the hearing for a long time happens behind closed doors, away from the spotlight. What we see is Parikshit got liberated, but it was in the making.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Second one was you said about upholding high values, and I remember from the Adinath book, he mentions that when he heard MLK's speech in 1963, the realization he got from that was, if you don't have a value system you're willing to die for, then there's no point of you being alive. So that was like the realization he took from MLK's I Have a Dream speech. And that goes to show why upholding values, it's very difficult because it may take 20, 25 years to build some reputation or some value system, but only a second to lose it. So,
So thank you for those, Prabhu. The saying that a life unexamined is a life not worth living. What is the examination? Parikshi. Examine. Thank you. Anyone else?
It's just adding, on to the point. There's so many things from this lecture that you could reflect on actually. Just thinking about it, but the main ones that come to mind was this, like Prabhu was saying, like after you pointed out just 15 minutes we've been reading. I think we meet a lot of people with dissolution that they're just not interested. And I think that's actually not so dangerous. What's more dangerous, and I've seen this even across people who have devotee parents, or they've gotten some association. Oh, I tried it, it didn't work. And the main problem that I'm not an expert, so I shouldn't be diagnosing, but at least from what I can tell, is it seems that they haven't spent as much time, or they haven't invested enough into it. Like they just artificially tried it, expecting a certain result. Like you said, you have to be unbiased. A lot of people, they come in with the bias, right? And they say, I tried chanting 3 months. Really, it was really powerful when you said that, because it's so true. I've seen this in many people's lives. They say, oh, I tried it, it didn't work. Or the one where they invent their own thing. They try a little bit, they put their foot here, put their foot there, they do they sit in this temple, then they do the Satyanarayana Swami Puja once a month, because they said, oh, just in case, that will guarantee the liberation. Okay, I'll go to the Kumbh. That will also guarantee the liberation. So they put their pocket, little change in each and every pocket. They'll put one coin.
Insurance.
Yeah, that's the word Prabhu uses. It's that insurance, I personally know people that do these things. So
Just in case.
no, this is actually, we're laughing, but there are people very close to me that they function like this. So yeah, we need to be unbiased and understand what is the absolute truth. We need to understand that. Otherwise, it's very dangerous. These two things.
Wow, yeah. Can totally relate to that. I mean, my dear family, this past Easter, right, he is risen. Lord Christ, it's supposed to be representative of the resurrection. And I say it with affection and respect. Family is engaged in opposite of the 4 rules and regulations. Some of them, at least, mainly intoxication. And yet they become religious for this period of time, or around Christmas time. A little piety is there. I mean, some is better than none. The idea is that this is called Mishra Bhakti. I have mixed devotion, and that will still lead one to a materialistic atmosphere, characterized by birth, death, old age, and disease, and therefore it's not advised. This is the obstinacy of the individual in general. Myself, so stubborn. Like, I want to be here for now. As Prabhupada said when student said, I want to go to the moon planet and come back. Why you want to go and come back? You just and then he said, there in the Russia, they sent out this spaceship, and the astronauts looking, where's my Moscow? Where's my Moscow? So attached like this, we want to stay in general. Yeah, so relatable and true. Long time. Sit down. Prahlad Maharaj told his schoolmates, stop your playing for now, my dear schoolmates. Sit down and hear some Krishna Katha. Anyone else want to share? 8:23. Go first.
I like your point that after hearing spiritual knowledge, one does not become inactive, one actually, the intensity of workload increases. So I see that in the life of Srila Prabhupada, as he left his family, his business, he went into Vanaprastha and sannyas. His activities were increasing, intensity was increasing. Printing the books, right? He was printing the magazine, writing the magazine, distributing the magazine, traveling from Vrindavan to Delhi and back. So I see that example in the life of Prabhupada, and that's why it gives me and anybody who reads about Prabhupada gives so much encouragement. Spiritual life is worth our investment and our time, because it gives you a purpose in life beyond materialistic things which people can eat, sleep, make a living. It gives you some higher purpose beyond your age.
Wow. Yeah. Important. Thank you, Prabhu. Purpose, Ikigai, Dharma, Tao, it's all synonymous. Having a clear purpose that's fulfilling. Anyone online looks like, oh, it's Rahul, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You can take up to a few
Hare
minutes
Krishna,
otherwise.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji. All praise to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. There were so many gems. I'm able to reflect on few and wish to share. Firstly, you remind me of your own kind example in Govardhan when you used to sleep very little. For me, I don't know Rupa Goswami, but I can remember your example. You slept very little and woke up early in the morning, did
Thank you,
Govardhan Parikrama. I
Rahul.
was extra enthused seeing your example. Otherwise, I would not have even done whatever little I did. Thank you so much. And second point was, yeah, there's so much vacations and all these things. Go there and you will be happy. But I am very much inspired by seeing you all. You are not unnecessarily going for tourism and only for spiritual places, and you are happy. So I was yesterday hearing about Bhagavad Gita 8.5, that those who think of me will come to me. So even by thinking of Krishna, wherever we are happy. And once we go to Krishna, back to Godhead, we will be happy there also eternally. On the contrast, there are people like Elon Musk. They are trying hard. They are greedy. They are not satisfied with what they have, their quota, and they want to grasp more and more, the working endlessly hard, and they want even to go to other planets. They are not happy with all the resources on the earth, and whereas devotees are happy with almost no resources, very little resources, and just spending their time in Krishna consciousness. Such a stark contrast we can see. I could reflect on. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul Prabhu. Yes, this chanchal, this restless mind comes from not having this divine value system and activities in which to engage in, right? And that's also mentioned in this purport, alluded to in any case, about the industrialists and working very hard. It's characterized by passion and ignorance. However, that's where the preaching work is, right? That's where the most return is, actually. Here we even see in Mountain View. It could be out in the mountains, Santa Cruz, and very peaceful. They have out in Mount Madonna, this one monastery, and they have peacocks roaming and a lot of natural settings. The real work is here. It's in the city, right? The average person is not going to go out there. And that's why Prabhupada strategically placed these bases or camps in the city. And he himself mentioned that I could just be in Vrindavan in happy life, very peaceful. But no, I've come here to your country uninvited, and yet now you are all following me. This is Prabhupada. And he said he had to preach vigorously, he said, aggressively. He had to, right? In order to gain a following. convince the average person. Thank you, Rahul Prabhu. We have about 1-2 minutes if anyone wants to add anything else. Kalpatri Vishta Kripa Sindhi Patitanam Pavanebhyo